there are things, and a lot of these things are now sort of universal in Western democracies, but public education for everyone, right? That's something we take for granted, but 200 years ago, the idea that the state would educate all of its population was a wild dream, right? This looks bad now because the housing bubble burst, but 30-year mortgages at very low guaranteed government rates did for many decades allow working class people to buy homes, and there are a number of countries that don't do that. So home ownership in the United States is higher than a lot of other countries. There's also loans for education, for higher education. So the question really becomes is, do you think the government is doing enough, too much already, or not? Whether it's doing stuff, it is doing stuff, but it also does a lot of stuff that probably encourages inequality of wealth to remain and to grow, right? So that if you are rich already, it's very easy to get richer because tax rates aren't much higher for the rich, and there are a lot of opportunities for the rich to generate even more wealth. But so I don't know. I guess that's a qualified. I think there's tons. I think it's very easy, and it's happening, that people who are already well off are hoarding all the opportunities. They've abandoned the public school system, and they go to their elite, well-off schools, and trapping poor people in schools that don't function as well as the schools they go to. They provide social networks where people have connections, which then down the road lead to jobs, business opportunities, contracts, and poor people are largely excluded from these networks. It's very hard for them to access them. You could argue that people with means in the United States have basically hived themselves off in many ways to be part of an exclusive club that leaves the majority of Americans knocking on the outside, and it's very hard to get in. Not impossible, but for most poor or working class people, it's going to be very hard to climb the ranks in this country. It always has been, but probably harder today than ever.
Yeah. Well, that's all the questions that I have.